We are back again, episode number 7. Jerry, we got some special guests.
Yeah, we got some new guys in here tonight that we wanted to introduce and kind of getting started in the game.
Okay, let's go around the table.
What is up? I'm Tate. I'm 27. I just turned 27, and I've been doing this for 2 months now. It's pretty sweet.
Maybe a little longer than that. Yeah.
A little over 2 months, but honestly, I'm having a pretty good time. Yeah.
And with us, back yet again,
The Rooster.
Red King.
Undefeated in 2024. Yeah.
and unchallenged in 2025.
Let's hope so.
We'll fix that.
Well, I've been here for about 4 or 5 years, and yeah, I'm Brady.
All right.
I'm Jackson. Only been here about 4 months or so. I'm 17, still starting out. Trying to be as good as some of these other guys in here, like Braden.
Yeah, the chain is real. Yeah. Corbinite, right?
Oh, it's real. No green neck.
Yeah, it's real.
Just don't look too closely on those cameras.
Yeah, exactly. They say like 5K, yeah.
6,
Yeah.
7, something
Yeah.
like that.
So we had some guys on here that's not been with us that long and just started. I think Tate actually had his first punches thrown at him tonight for the first time.
Yours truly.
Yeah, dude, me and Jackson went at it. It was my first rodeo. It felt good. I'm not gonna lie. I got hit a couple times. It felt good.
Right. So I met Tate at Planet Fitness.
Oh, every day.
Probably just kind of passing like a year ago or something, and then saw him jogging through the park.
Yeah, dude.
Did I say something to you, or did you stop that day that I was outside getting ready to go somewhere? But had I said something to you before that? Or
Yeah, so I started jogging last year. I just had all this like athletic energy. I needed to put it somewhere, and I started jogging. Coincidentally, I was jogging by this gym.
Right.
And I passed you guys actually out there a few times. Didn't even realize.
While I had them out running.
Yes.
Okay.
And then eventually it started getting colder, and I said, dude, I can't keep this up. This outside jogging is not for me.
Right.
So I stopped in, and Jerry, good guy, introduced himself and invited me in. And honestly, dude, best decision I've ever made stopping in here.
So you see all these alpha males jogging through the park, chanting Marine Corps.
Braden was jogging through, and I thought, man, I have to live up to that man.
I know. This is why he looks so familiar to me. I'm like, because I see people like jogging, I like wave and stuff, and then I just keep going.
Right.
And I was like, he looks so familiar when he first started, and I was like,
so from having seen that, and then you show up, like, what's your expectations though? Like the first time you come, what apprehensions did you have? Like, what did you expect that experience to be like?
Yeah, man. I have to be honest. I come from a background. I had in a single parent home, barely that. I was very low structure. I had basically no one to push me into anything. No sports, nothing academic. I basically sat on the couch and played video games, and that was my entire young life. And as I got older, I just realized how miserable that was for me.
Right.
And I saw all these competitive environments and all these all these teams and all these competition people in any sport, and it was sort of this feeling of like fear.
So is that what got you like in the gym, like Planet Fitness to start with, working out?
I wanted to push myself to do something like that, and all that fear and that envy that I had towards those people in those like competitive environments. And I think I talked to a couple guys at the gym that did it. They did jiu-jitsu maybe or Muay Thai maybe.
Right.
And they said, dude, you should go do it. You should go try it. And I'd heard good things about this gym. I'm not going to lie. Right. I heard a lot of people in town like this place. So I came in. I didn't know what to expect. I was absolutely terrified because I'd never been in the sport.
Right.
And so this was like, it was like jumping into the.
Did you think maybe first day I'm there, they're going to throw the gloves on me and let somebody pound on me, or like 50 years ago that was like the case?
Yeah,
right?
I heard a lot of people telling me a lot of people told me don't fight if they're trying to make you fight the first day. Don't do it.
Yeah, don't see what you got.
Don't let them guilt you. Or,
there's probably been more good athletes destroyed over doing stuff like that, boxing, than any other sport combined.
Yeah, but I came in, and honestly, dude, it was the most welcoming environment, and I feel like, I don't know, I just kind of sunk into a place of like, I feel like I can goof off and I can push myself. And someone used the word brotherhood the other day. I've never had that in my life. I've never had an environment where I feel like
were
I'm
your only child growing up, or
no, I had a brother.
Okay,
but you
didn't have a brotherhood.
I didn't have a brother. No, yeah, brotherhood.
Yeah.
So it was really cool, dude. Like just to be accepted so fast. And I don't know if that's a testament to the boxing industry.
Right.
I don't know if it's a testament to just this town, and I don't know if it's this gym specifically. But I'm very fortunate and very glad that I landed here instead of going somewhere and maybe getting like a bad
Well,
taste.
a lot of people don't understand we run that as a class. It's a class just like if you took a karate class that's structured from start to finish too, and that's kind of different for boxing. A lot of boxing gyms, people just come in and
punch the
kind
bag
of do their
and,
own thing until there's no direction until it's time to spar maybe.
I loved it. I think the class structure is perfect. I think for me being new to it, the class structure was probably the best case scenario because I wasn't just fumbling around punching bags that I had no idea what they do.
You're
now
being
I could
facilitated.
Yeah, I could tell you what all of these bags are used for different movements, whatever,
Right.
And so it's cool. It's like you learn your ABCs before you feel too overwhelmed with everything.
Right. And so you started sparring tonight for the first time.
Yeah.
And felt good doing that.
Felt amazing, dude.
And
Jackson
so,
got some good hits on me.
Hey, you did too,
at this point, like, what's your aspirations?
Yeah, I've asked myself that from day one, and like asking what's the end goal? Like, what am I trying to get out of this? And honestly, it's changed so rapidly since I started because I came in thinking, I just want to learn how to defend myself. But then that quickly turned into, I want to see how far I can push myself athletically. And now it's honestly, dude, I couldn't tell you. There's so many things that I'm getting out of it. I genuinely don't have a solid answer of what
You're
is
just
the
kind
end
of
goal.
open to training and seeing how good you can get.
Yeah, I'm just enjoying it for exactly what it is, and it's been an incredible experience this far.
Yeah, you'll never regret it either, especially once you start getting in consecutively sparring, and you start to realize how just unarmed the average person is when it comes to hand-to-hand combat. When you start getting good and you start sparring all the time, you're like, it's really easy to dismantle someone in the real world, like real easy.
Easy for you to say.
Most people, like in that kind of environment, or if they're inebriated, like an unannounced 1-2 waxes 99 people out of 100, especially from somebody that's actually training. That velocity and speed, it's just
remember
they
that,
can't
Jackson.
deal with it. Yeah.
Put that one up
so
here.
So you're kind of open to see what the future brings as far as compete, not compete.
Yeah,
what
I
have
mean,
you.
I don't know. A competitive. I don't know if that's ever something that I have on my to-do list.
Right.
I see a lot of those videos. I see you in there, and it's like, man, I don't want to get in the ring with that guy.
Yeah.
But who knows?
Well, that's why there's weight classes.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
What
What
who
are you
knows?
weighing, 160?
170 right now.
Okay.
170.
Yeah.
So you'd be like,
I should work at the circus. After all these years, you about look at somebody and So let's go over to Jackson. So what brought you in the gym? How did you show up here?
Similar things. Not playing a sport right now, and it's like, well, you gotta better yourself.
What sports you played
athletically.
previously?
I used to do track,
Okay.
swim before that, and I'm just out of it right now because I didn't have the love for it I used to. And old Kenny had always told me you should come in here.
Okay, so a friend of yours.
Yeah, you should give it a try. You should come in here, and I would always put it off. Because I really, similar to what you said, but maybe, a better home life. I just stayed at home. I played games all day.
It's easy to do.
Other than putting effort into my education, I didn't do anything outside of that. Maybe a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, I was like, I gotta start putting on muscle. I gotta start benefiting myself athletically.
Yeah.
I was maybe 5'10" and 100 pounds. I couldn't bench the bar in the gym, so
Couldn't even bench the 45-pound Olympic bar?
I couldn't. Whenever I started lifting, I
Dang.
couldn't do it. And now I think I put on
That's a great motivator right there.
yeah, I put on about 60 pounds or so in about a year. Probably the hardest thing I've ever done. I was like, well, now I can do things like this, be able to really put myself into this because I think I'm more ready for it.
Just watching the Iranian guy that was just on dropping bombs with Brad Lee, and he said, like, all these people always think positive things, all these motivational. He said, tell me what you're most afraid of. Tell me who's done you the worst, like all these things, because he's like that everybody, that fear of what people think about you and feeling weak.
Yeah, you don't want to feel
drove
skinny.
You
don't
right?
want to feel like you can get pushed around. You want to be
the
able
old
to
Charles
defend
Atlas
yourself.
cartoons in the back of the magazines, kicking dirt in your face at the beach.
See,
It's
I
a
actually,
motivator.
I actually got bullied. That's what got me into combat sports because I was a late bloomer. I was a short, chubby kid, and my mom did not help me with dyeing my hair blonde.
Oh, dude. You got the blonde tip treatment, dude.
Man, listen, it was okay. It flew when they had me in private school. When I went to public school, it was an absolute slaughter.
Oh, God.
Dude, it was so bad.
He's straight up Buckeye with blonde hair.
I could see it right now, dude.
Did she have you in the shower cap with the holes, dude, pulling the hair through? That's my mom.
No, she did. She did the L'Oreal bleach in a box.
Yeah.
And I combed it through and everything. And
she had a coupon for that.
It was so stupid. And it was horrible. But yeah, that's what got me in combat sports.
So you put on 60 pounds of body weight?
A little over 60 pounds in about a year. I was just eating everything I could, lifting 6 times a week. I had a lot of buddies help me through it.
Right.
And then it's like, well,
and then you got Kenny was your friend. So Kenny kind of told you.
Big Kenny.
He had been telling me to do it forever.
Kenny Root. Yeah.
He was like, come in here, you'd love it. You'd love the people, the environment. And I'd always put it off because I was so focused on benefiting myself in the gym. But now I feel like I can do both.
Right. So you came in. Did you have aspirations to spar when you first came in?
Oh, yeah, dude. First
so you knew you wanted to spar.
I thought I'd come in here and I would probably either get beat up or learn how to beat someone up. And then it's like, okay, that's not how it works around
So you didn't
here.
understand like the methodical process from first day.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about boxing. I've learned so much when it comes to everything. I'm really glad I didn't come in here and just get beat up and you get the wrong idea. Like, man, I can't defend myself. Why am I here? You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
You learn from the ground up. And now
a lot of that, if I'm kind of a hybrid coach now, like when I was in Lexington, I did things a little bit differently, but like where I was an instructor for the Department of Criminal Justice, like some of that's merged in with my coaching, that scientific approach. And, you don't just put police officers up first day on the line, say when the target turns, shoot 3 rounds, and that'd be a catastrophe.
Yeah.
You start out doing dry fire. And then you start out, hey, just draw from the holster and take your time. Can you shoot a good group? And that's basically what we're doing here.
Oh, yeah, your confidence.
Then you add what we call
everything.
stress inoculation. And when you guys first start sparring, it's just jab only.
Yeah.
Right? Because adding to that ain't going to look better. It's going to look worse. And when you do it that way, usually by the time you're throwing all your punches, most people have pretty good skill set. Their defense, and they're not overwhelmed. You don't get those busted noses all over your face and busted mouths and
Unless
stuff.
you spar with Aiden or this guy.
What?
Yeah. And every now and then you do, but I mean we'll go maybe a month or two at a time and nobody bleed. But they're sparring hard. And that shows you that everybody's pretty well matched up on skill level and they're good to go defensively.
They know what they're doing. Yeah.
You're not overwhelming skill sets. But if you just throw guys in there first time and say, okay, let's see what you got.
Oh, yeah. If I didn't know anything and I went in there, I'd have just you don't have the courage or just the skill to know what you're doing. You just have so much adrenaline, you can't control it when you spar.
Yeah, and I think that's really what's missing from boxing over the years is the science. A lot of what trainers do is not science-based.
It's like philosophy.
Yeah, it's like a bunch of urban legend stuff, the conditioning.
Stuff that looks good on Instagram.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, Instagram.
They look at one of the big pet peeves is the Darth Vader mask, the oxygen deprivation mask. Everybody I've ever seen wearing one of them is somebody that's smoking something they shouldn't. They don't want to work hard enough to get in shape. And it doesn't work the same as being at altitude anyway. It actually can damage your heart.
Yep. But it looks cool on Instagram.
Yeah, it looks cool on Instagram. When I see somebody wearing that, I don't think of champion at all. That's not what comes to mind.
Yeah.
They work hard on cameras, but they don't work hard by themselves.
Exactly. They're doing it for
There's no integrity.
Yeah, doing it for the clicks.
Yep.
So what's any aspirations right now? What's your ultimate goal?
Just like what Tate said, you never really know what your true goal is because you just start learning so much more, and it's like, now what do I want out of it? I'd love to be able to compete, and then there's people like Amy in here who are getting a scholarship to box, and it's like the opportunities you have when you come in here, if you can push yourself, are endless. They really are.
It's not. A lot of people don't even realize that, and it's very easy scholarship.
Only 3 people applied for it.
She's the first ever to receive it from Kentucky.
That's
amazing.
And
she's maxed out with grades. You get more proportionate what your grades are and scores, what have you. But she's at I think it's $8,000 a year. And you box twice a year, win, lose, or draw. Like you don't.
Yep.
There's no expectation of performance. You just have to be competitive twice a year to maintain that scholarship.
And if you're able to get other scholarships and other grants, you can basically pocket a lot of that.
They're paying you to go to school there really, really quickly. Yeah, so that's something I'd like to see a lot more kids take advantage of. I had kids in Lexington I actually lost to the streets that should have been in college on that scholarship, right? So I was happy to see the first one come along, take advantage of it, and hopefully we'll have a lot more go to college on scholarship.
That is amazing.
Yeah. So you're just kind of open. Another thing we do too, when somebody says, "Hey, coach, I want to compete," we make them go to an amateur boxing show and see how the weigh-ins are conducted.
And me and Jackson, we gotta go, dude. Let's go to the next one.
I'm ready.
That's a real big stress reliever. Seeing how the weigh-ins are conducted, seeing that not everybody looks like Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah.
There's some brand new guys
There's
here
some doughboys
that you're looking at, and you're going, "Hey, I could probably beat that guy."
Yeah.
It definitely helps the confidence. Now you might go to a show like this weekend. I think there's a couple of top-notch national kids that are going to hook up on that show. But, I mean, they're guys with both of them have
40s.
probably 70, 80 fights or more.
Jesus.
Easy.
So I'm actually – it's Seth Duran, and he's boxing that Armand Jackson from Louisville. And both of them are like 50 to 70 fights. It'll be something that you normally see at a national tournament.
Right.
Yeah, but for the most part, you go to these shows and you say, okay, let me check out somebody that weighs what I weigh and my age and the experience I've got and see where and it usually makes you feel a lot better about it.
Yeah, I think that definitely would dismiss a lot of the, just like sparring.
Because you paint a picture in your mind that this guy's going to show up and he's a phenom,
Yeah, that's the thing with the sparring is that, you have this preconceived idea of what it's going to feel like to get hit and with the fear of what you're going to have whenever you're getting punched at. Right. And then when you get in the ring and you actually start doing it, you realize, it's more of just, you got to just react. You got to just go and do what you know. And I think going to a show and seeing that, I think that would probably dismiss a lot of those fears. It's the same way as getting in the ring.
Right, it's going to lessen your anxiety. And now you're allowed to box up to 6 developmentals or exhibitions, and that's a good tool too. Not a lot of coaches look at it like it's a wasted opportunity, but everybody I've ever seen that boxes in a developmental, then when they box their first official bout after that, they perform exponentially better than they did in the developmental.
Go to like
the first time in front of a
shows,
crowd.
Dude, it's like I remember jumping into like feet first. My first bout, I went alone. I was kind of sitting there. I was like nervous, and
He's the only one on the show.
I was the only one
on the show.
And Jerry was like, "You worked hard for this. This is why I'm doing this." And I was like, it just like added the pressure. I was like,
Did you win?
Oh no, I lost.
He lost the decision, But once you get on that that do loop like that, like he was chasing this guy down like eager and running. Walking into right hand,
okay.
And it cost him
that right hand got me.
Is that how you got is that why Aiden says that you always just take everything straight to the face, dude?
It's my best
He's
defense.
like Holyfield, you got to hit him real good right in the face to get him going. Like if you ever watch any old Evander Holyfield tape, when somebody nailed him, that's when Holyfield would turn on.
Okay, all right.
So you're kind of open to it, Jackson. You see how everything evolves.
Yeah. Aspirations grow so much because it's like now maybe it could help me pay for college or be able to compete.
Were you guys even boxing fans before you came
No,
in here?
I didn't know much about it. I had followed big people, Mike Tyson, Muhammad Ali, stuff like that. Everybody knows those guys, but no. But now I definitely do.
Right.
I'll be honest. I have absolutely zero knowledge of boxing. I don't. Even the big guys. I don't even follow the big guys. It really is more than anything. I think it was just like the small town community talking about it that got me so amped for it. That was a lot of people really respect it here, and it's. I think that was a big part of it.
I knew at some point, there I'm coaching up in Lexington and all that. I knew I was like when I go home, but there's a lot of you wouldn't believe the people that said even good coaches that said you can't train people down there in a small town. I mean, you wouldn't believe that. I'm like,
that's where the hidden gyms are.
Yeah,
dude.
I'm like, because you're not like a Cincinnati. There's a good gym on every other corner. Right. So you can get. I need a southpaw that's national level. I wish I had that for my kid. It's 2 blocks away. So being isolated like this and getting people to buy into it, you wouldn't believe the boxing people that said, "Oh yeah, you'll never be able to this and that." And then here we are. We have this year already we got one kid ranked number 5 in the nation right here in the gym.
Dude, you've produced some absolute brutes out
Yeah,
there. This is
right.
cool, dude. Like
I'm never happy, but I'm just saying, we've got a really good team that can compete on a level playing field, same age, same weight, same experience with anybody out there.
Yeah, and win.
And expect to win. But you wouldn't believe the people that even with the resume I came with that said, "Oh, it can't be done."
Yes, it can.
Of course, when you say that, I'm going to do or die.
Yes, it can.
Let's shift gears here. Weekend before last, our big heavyweight here, Mason,
Got that
was
knockout.
back in the ring, got that KO.
Vanilla
Yeah.
Gorilla.
Got that KO, the Vanilla Gorilla.
I'm going to rank
So
it.
we had 3 guys. It was our first outing of the year, Huntington, West Virginia. Parker's not on the show with us. Parker won a decision over a real good kid from Lexington, Kentucky.
Darn near flawless performance.
As good a third bout performance as you'll ever see. That 14-year-old kid, I mean, put on a clinic of how to box an aggressive guy coming after you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was really.
Parker looked like a 10-bouter in there.
Yeah, he didn't look like a 2-bouter. He didn't
Yeah.
look like it was
Did
his
they
third
ask you if
bout.
you lied?
No, they didn't. But I mean, and that club, the very first show on the card, there was some animosity between that club. Like they had a rough crowd with them,
Oh, yeah.
and there's all this trash talking. But then when Parker boxes their kid, it's like a funeral. Like nobody was saying that.
Nothing.
They're like,
Dead quiet.
come on, Jose.
That-
They're like, come on, Jose. Come on. That's about all you heard, right?
And that kid was aggressive, man. He came out.
He's
he was
coming
trying to-
after him, but he's just running into shots
running
and movement.
And
yeah.
Parker's lateral movement, his footwork was
Oh,
too busy for him.
Yeah.
Parker is really good. I will.
Yeah, and
He
he's
moves his
shuffling.
feet.
He's shuffling those elbows, and I'm like, he looks like Grandpa that can still fight. Right? He's shuffling those elbows, like kind of like you see in them old movies. That old man, come on.
It's
son.
like he's dancing. Like,
Yeah. He's just shuffling those elbows. It's pretty funny. And then Alex Avila.
Oh, he's such a good. That's
Alex
such a
put
good
on.
kid.
Alex gave up about 50 pounds.
Yeah.
Big old,
easily.
and almost stopped the guy. Got 3 8 counts on him, and right at the end of the third round, he's almost 4th 8 counts automatic stoppage.
Alex is so good.
Really good performance. I mean, he put on, and then Mason closes. You're next to last bout.
Yeah, that was the co-main event.
And it was ugly. One of those deals, you can't play around in the heavyweight division when guys can hit hard enough to really hurt you.
put you on the
right?
ground,
really,
yeah.
not just KO you, but, they could injure you, right?
Right.
And the guy, after the first 8 count, I probably would have let him box.
Yeah,
And then the second one, Mason hit him, and the guy goes through the ropes a little bit, like falls in the ropes. And you could tell when he got up, he really didn't want to say, I quit. If you've got a referee that's that old school, let you die on your shield, and then your corner is the same way, and then you got a fighter that don't want to quit, that's a really bad cocktail.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. And then he comes across the ring after that second. Tell us about the last knockdown.
So, as the ref is giving him his second 8 count, I'm screaming at him from the neutral corner, "Don't do it, Mick. Stay down." I'm like, "Don't make
He's
me
talking
do."
to the guy.
I'm
Oh
talking
my
to the-
God.
I'm
Something out of a movie.
I'm looking right at him like, "Don't do it, Mick." I'm like,
He is
"Stay
no
down."
challenge, but
Yeah.
I'll be happy to punish him.
Yeah, and like he said, he was shaking his head. I'm like, "Oh," and then I hear and I'm
10
like,
second
10
warning.
seconds. I'm like, I'm getting him out of here. And I went
He
ahead.
runs across the ring, plants his feet,
Boom.
overhand right.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
hush. I don't know what it is, too, about heavyweights. Like, you see all this skilled boxing earlier, but, like, after that happened, I'm standing up. And I try not to act like Emmett Smith's dad told him, said, don't act like it's the first time you ever been in the end zone,
Right.
acting all crazy. And it's almost like an embarrassing feeling, like, because you feel for that other guy even though you beat him. And I'm just trying to be humble about it. And then you got people yelling like, "Oh, Jerry, man, that was awesome. Where did you get that guy?" I'm not wanting to like gloat over it, but there's just something about that big boom from a heavyweight that like gets the crowd
Pumped.
I just picture
into
you
it.
standing over him. This hurts me more than it hurts you. you know?
I honestly, like, after it happened, I was like, "Ooh, man, that feels good." First round knockout. And then I'm looking at him and they're examining him. I'm like, "Oh, this is where I
Yeah.
feel bad now."
Yes.
Because he had to go get checked in after that at the hospital.
You have to
How-
pull the trigger a little faster as referee in the corner when you got
Yeah.
guys can hit like that.
How long was he out?
he just couldn't get up.
He didn't.
Oh.
Yeah, he got his legs got disconnected.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they ended up sending him to the hospital
Yeah.
and get him checked out. And, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I know.
Yeah.
So it was and like when they were trying to tell him like, hey, listen, you got to go get checked up. He's like, really? They're like, yeah, buddy, you got to go get checked now. And
And it had his whole family there, had a VIP table and
man.
stuff. It was,
Honestly, the one thing that did make me feel bad was to hear, like, I don't know if it was his mom or sisters or aunts or whatnot, but to hear them go, like, their reaction, I was just like, ooh, that made me
Hey, at
feel
least
bad.
Shouldn't have got up.
At least it shows that you have empathy, dude. That's a great thing to have.
Yeah, because
because
I like, honestly, the one thing I wish I should have done was look at his corner and be like, are you gonna throw the towel in for him?
He
Are you
gonna die,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm like, because
Spartan mentality.
yeah, I'm
kind
like,
of my rule is always like in that other situation is I'll evaluate, is my guy throwing the kind of leather that could turn the fight around, right? If he's not doing that, and then is he hurt, and how big a puncher is this other guy, and is my guy motivated, right? Did he step to the referee like get out of my, and just everything about that was a no. And then they said box, and I said, oh my goodness.
yeah, that first, I smelt blood after, and you were totally right, because initially my game plan was just to break his body down and get him out that way, what I did with the last guy, right?
Yeah.
And the dude was tough because I was peppering him with some really good body shots, and he wasn't. Usually, when I hit guy with a body shot, he's like, and he was like, and he was still throwing a punch
throwing
right
back,
after,
yeah.
throwing right
Yeah.
back, and I'm like,
But it brought them hands down.
yeah, it did, and I saw that in that last
Yeah.
body shot. His hands came down, which opened up my right hand.
Yeah.
That first 4-piece I hit him with.
When you hit somebody to the body and you know you're a good body puncher and they don't immediately react or instantaneously react, it like messes with your ego.
It does.
Like I hit this guy one time with like two.
That's
like
exactly.
that 2 right hands to the body, and I was like, is this guy laughing at me?
Yeah.
Right? And then the third one, he broke down. But like the first 2, he was playing poker. I couldn't tell. Yeah, so it messes with your ego, especially when you know you can punch and people normally react a certain way. But you have to look at it like I'm putting money in the bank. Maybe I just put a 50 in there, 100, but he's feeling it.
Yeah.
Like
'Cause-
most people don't like getting hit in the body.
Yeah, as soon as I hit him with that last right hand, and he still, I didn't hear that, and he still threw punches back at me. I'm like, this next one's going on your chin now. Like that's all I
Right.
thought. I'm
Yeah,
like,
you
the
dipped
next
to the
one-
right there and then hit him with that first overhand right.
Yep.
You got the 8 count on it. And you got a couple follow-up shots for the referee got in there, too, on the 8 counts.
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah. So then Hanshaw comes up after that, and they're like, man, can't wait to see this guy with no headgear on and 10-ounce
and-
gloves.
yeah,
on the pro
10-ounce
side.
gloves.
Yeah. So what we're looking at on that note is you were 235 that fight.
Yeah.
We're trying to inch him down closer to like 220, 225, maximize that speed, right? Because we're a
Fire
shorter. We're a stump, right? We're a
Yeah.
shorter heavyweight. We think of like David Tua, Tyson, those guys. You got to have foot speed, right? When you're the shorter guy, you got to have that hand and foot speed. Foot speed would be more important than hand speed even. Because
very
you got to
much.
be able to get in punching range.
Yep.
So that's where we're headed.
That's the big thing that I really don't think I expected was with boxing, there's so much lower body movement and agility that you have to have that you wouldn't think just watching it.
Yeah.
But there's I think equally amount, and I'm inexperienced and don't know better, but it feels like there's an equal amount of lower body movement required with your upper body punches.
Well, like
All
in his
hips.
case, it'd be even more important. You know,
Yeah.
that's what the wheels are what's moving your punching machine around. So the faster they can do that and then move it out of punching range or whatever the case may be, the more you're going to land, the less you're going to get hit. Now, the guys that have the big long reach, like
Will.
George Foreman with the 80-inch reach, he aged better in the sport, right, winning a world title at 44 years old. But you don't see guys like Joe Frazier and Mike Tyson winning titles at 40-something years old because their foot speeds went away by then. And if you're going to be the shorter guy, you have to have incredible hand and foot speed and power to match.
Yep.
Right? Once you get in range, you have to dish out the damage. But a long, tall guy, he can age better in the sport. Right? Because he can reach out there and touch them. The foot speed doesn't play as big a factor.
Yep.
That makes sense. That
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
when you look at George probably could have boxed competitively up to 50.
Yeah.
And they were just begging him that he'd already made his money. And
He was done.
Yeah, that'd be the wrong grandpa to try to mug. Could you imagine some young kid? Kids don't know he fought.
No.
They say that nice old guy that sells the
preacher?
grills. I'm like,
Yeah.
he'll kill you. You know,
They literally with one shot.
that
Cook you
dude
a
is
steak after.
Do you ever see a punching bag? Y'all need to get on YouTube. Pull up when he was in his prime.
Okay.
He would stand there and like throw maybe 100 left hooks in a row on the bag. Right? It wasn't combination punching like I make you guys do. The whole side of the bag would look like a banana. It would cave it in, and the trainer's holding it, and his head's getting knocked from here to the wall. I mean, he was a freak of nature.
Freak of nature. Big
Hey,
time.
Shane, can you pull that up?
Yeah.
Jamie, can we pull
So let's transition here. We haven't talked about the rooster yet. So what's on the agenda?
15 bouts by the end of the year.
Yeah, so he's sitting at 10 now. He's undefeated in 2024. What, 4-0? 2024?
Yeah, 4-0.
4-0. We're trying to round out. You know, a lot of times now they're wanting you to have 15 for a national tournament. You know,
I want to polish up.
so we want to get him at a national tournament by the end of this year, right? He's
Every
19.
Time, every time I get into like a ring for like an amateur match, I just like judge myself so hard. I'm like, dude, that looks so ugly. Like I'll go look back at like the footage of like Will and stuff, and I'm like, dude, that was so.
You focus
ugly.
on every time you got touched.
No, I focus on like I want to look good when I beat somebody. I don't want it to be like blood and guts like my first bout.
Right.
But I mean, I'm willing to go there if that's what it takes to win.
You're jumpy. It's like confusing. Like when I spar you, you'll just jump back and forth. It's like, what do I do against that?
He's got that real good check hook.
I love
Yeah.
that. I love that check hook. That check hook is my. Ever since I never really knew I had a
That
left
was
hook
your first win you had. You got that 8 count on that guy from Louisville
with the left hook.
with the left hook, and then I think that's when you bought into it probably.
I started. I've seen like the Russians fight and how they like step back and throw the left hook, and I was like, I kind of want to imitate that.
Right.
And I've like trained it ever since, like just stepping back.
Yeah.
And because I've always liked throwing the 1, 2, 3, but like there's something about like stepping back and throwing the left hook and getting them off of you to get a better position in the ring that I really
It's a lot
that I
safer.
subscribe to. Yeah.
And Braden's a real good example. Braden's 19 now. A lot of these kids, you have to be that. It was not that long ago you were in the men's division
Oh yeah.
at 17, and I was always the advocate. Like, hey, if you look, you know these other countries have professional amateurs. You know, you got a 17-year-old national champ, and he's fighting a 28-year-old Cuban, right? That has no aspirations to turn pro. Now it's 19, but you know when you're talking 18, 19-year-old kids. You have to give that body time to develop. Think of it like NFL, right? They can't go in the NFL till what? Their third year, 3 years after your class graduates, because that body needs to develop. And not a lot of kids are developed enough, even at 19, to win national championships in the men's division. So we've took our time and let him finish out all of his not been in a rush. And now here he is getting ready to turn 20 years old.
Oh, I used to get
know.
bullied. I was so skinny. I like this sport has put so much like weight on me, and it's not just like fat. It's like muscle that I can use. And I remember just getting bullied and pushed around. And when I first my first year here, I'd start fighting in like these parking lots.
Dude, did you really?
Unbeknownst to me.
Story?
That's a real story. I'd fight in parking lots, and then because I'd go to second period, third period, and they'd be like, I bet I could whoop you boxing or not. And I was like, okay. And I was really skinny when my
He's just 14 when you started, wasn't you?
oh yeah, I was
Yeah, he's a stick.
a stick, bro.
Where are you
Yeah.
winning?
Oh, I won, yeah.
That's all that matters then, right?
Yeah, you were the king of those parking lots.
That's how I coped with my first few
I'm
losses.
King Kong up in here.
That's
Don't
how-
pull up to the Dairy Queen parking lot. Braden's in there.
The Planet Fitness parking lot, or the Golden Corral. God, I hate
Winning a
that
fist
guy.
fight in Planet Fitness parking lot's like an oxymoron, though. Like,
Did you have a favorite
Fist
though?
fight.
Like, oh, you meet me at Golden Corral, it's over. But Walmart
had this-
parking lot, I don't know.
There's this one guy that I really don't like, and and we fought in Golden Corral, and I just hit him once with like my jab. And
You fought in Golden Corral?
no, outside
in the parking lot.
It was
Okay.
like
He's
abandoned.
banned
It was
for life.
abandoned.
Take his face through the mashed potato.
Is this a real story?
He dunked him in the chocolate fountain.
This feels like something in movies. Is this a real
Yeah,
story?
it's a real story.
This is crazy.
I'll
Okay.
tell you the name
Golden
after.
Corral
so-
parking lot. Okay.
Yeah,
here we
I'll
go.
tell you the name after. So there's a bunch of like people came up to see the fight because I was like, hey, I'll box you. And so I threw my jab and I hit him, and he's like, you busted my damn lip. And I was like, and he was done. And he'd go like,
Oh, once he saw that blood, it just tore him up.
he just didn't do it. And I
Yeah.
hate. He was always testing me. Like he was always like, people will always like test you, like
Yeah.
like your coworkers or whatever, and they'll just try to get you to take that last step. And I've always tried to remain calm, but it did feel good.
Right. Shit. So he's out here battling, unbeknownst to me, right?
No, I don't do that anymore. That was,
No,
that was
I'm
high
talking back
school.
today.
The
That's
king
high
of the
school.
corral.
Sounds like they earned it. I'm sure your mom didn't know that was
Oh,
going on
mom
either.
don't know.
Yeah.
Now
Sorry.
she does.
I'm
He's
sorry,
like,
mom.
He's like, Mom, I fell down and scratched my knuckles, Mom.
I can't believe there's a fight club in Eastern Kentucky that I was not aware of. That's
Yeah.
crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, what is going on with that? I've when I was working out in up in Richmond rebuilding that tower, I had a couple guys come up to me in the Planet Fitness out there, like, "Hey man, there's this bare knuckle tournament that we do. You want to join in?" And I'm like, that sounds interesting.
There was a.
Oh my god.
I don't think I told this on any of our previous podcasts. This kid came in here a couple times, and he had played. I'll leave his name out. It's just if I told his name, though, it makes it 10 times funnier. He had played tailback for like Pulaski, Southwestern. So I mean, this kid's a good athlete, and just a knucklehead, right?
Oh,
Don't
yeah.
want to come in and submit to be trained correctly and all. And he would just go in combat gyms, any kind of combat gym, and not even meaning it in a mean way. Not even think it's rude to say, anybody here like to fight and challenge them. I mean, like some Kumite stuff. And next thing, and have it on video. Next thing, they're rolling over. They're rolling over weights, and I mean, just in the middle of somebody's nice combat gym, and he just thinks, hey, I'm get better that way. I just go around and fight the best guys. This country's cornbread. So he calls me one day, and this kid's about 5'9", 175. I mean, good specimen though, right?
Yeah.
Muscular kid, strong. Could have been a good boxer, right? If he actually submitted himself to a coach and did what he's supposed to do. And he calls me and he says, there's this guy that's wanting to fight me. And he said he's 6'3", 300 pounds or something like this. And he said, and I've got a broke hand right now. And he said, should I just fight him with that one hand? Yeah. And he's serious as can be, right? And I said, so you're going to go over to Billy Bob's house and fight this guy in the basement that outweighs you by 100 pounds with one hand. It's not a sanctioned bout that means anything and would do anything towards your boxing career, just for ego. He said, it was just pause, and he says, how'd you know it was Billy Bob's house? It was really Billy Bob's house, and I'm just saying it. I said, I was just making that up. He thought that I had him on camera or something. I've got CIA satellites on him. So, yeah. How'd you know it was Billy Bob's house? I was just making it up. Just sounded like it would fit. And the kid could have been a good fighter if he went in a gym and he said, I'll do everything. I always use this. Coach, I'll do everything you tell me to do. I won't do anything you tell me not to. And develop and competing on a regular basis, could have had a totally different outcome. Saw him at an amateur show, last year when you boxed. It was in Tennessee, in Harrogate. He was at that show. Didn't even recognize him. Had the hair grown out, big flop hat on, and what have you. And I'm like, yeah.
Did he win?
No, he's just there hanging out.
Oh, just hanging out.
And only had 2 official bouts ever, like 1-1, and just
Fizzled out.
I mean, you see all that athleticism just get because they don't want to come in and really submit themselves to being coached the right way.
Right.
one thing that I do want to say about that specifically is, if anyone out there who's listening is my age, 27, or even in your mid 20s or older, these young guys that are in here, you can learn so much from them. If you I think a lot of people think, oh, if I'm older than this person, or if I have years on this person, I can't learn anything from them. They can't teach me anything.
No.
Yeah.
I
My
admire
coworkers.
the guys in here.
Somebody that's a specialist.
Like you were
Yeah.
saying, 14 years old and killing it in the ring.
Right.
I'm never going to be aged out of that threshold of me being able to take something from them.
This
away
guy's
from
too
them.
young to show me anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That's-
that's a thing going to almost any combat sport, man. I know this one guy. He's like I'm 30 years old and I do jiu-jitsu, which is a funny way of saying I get choked out by 19-year-olds on my free time.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's one of these things like when like people come in here, full-grown men, they look at Braden and Mongo and they're like, what are these kids gonna teach me? I'm like, oh, why don't you get in the ring and find out?
Yeah,
It's
a
like-
piece of shit. Or like, look at my son is 12 and he's been around the game his whole life.
Yeah, he was
And
teaching
he already
me
knows
something
what
that-
I'm thinking before I say it.
Yeah,
Because he has that seeing all these different athletes at every level and really really knows the game.
Yeah, it's amazing. I just wanted to take the opportunity to say, like, to Mongo and Alex, both of them are killer guys, and I'm so
very good
glad
students of the game. Yeah.
very glad that I get to look up to them and see how they're doing things and teaching me. So it's really really cool. I admire all the people in this gym very
And
much.
that's what happens when you get a kid come in that's like a blank slate, and they're a really good student and really studious and asking questions and studying the game, and they really get on like that 400 level.
Yeah.
It makes my job easy when you do things right, and then you get those guys to that point. First day we ever opened up, we have a whole gym full of guys that's never thrown a punch before. Now that's difficult. They're like now your job gets easier because I can grab a Braden and say, hey, would you show this guy this, and know it's going to be done correctly. Very 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 seldom do I ever even give those guys any tidbits about a class.
Yeah.
Just periodically. But they're fantastic students. Another thing I wanted to talk about that we had some great fights this past weekend about boxing. The Benavides and Morrell. Did anybody watch any of those? So what, Mason? What did you think? What did you expect out of Benavides and Morrell?
Man, I mean, from
Great light heavyweight fight.
Great, it was
Yeah.
amazing light heavyweight fight. That was that was as best of a fight you could really ask for. But everyone was definitely Morrell was no joke, and he made that statement in that fight.
He's
For
legit.
sure. He's
Yeah,
legit.
yeah. He ain't going. You have to kill him.
Because everyone else I was talking to, like, oh, Benavides is gonna steamroll him, and yeah, he won thoroughly, but that was a fight.
No, he was in there. What about?
He almost got knocked out a couple times too. I think he
He got clipped. So where do you go with Benavides now? Who'd you like to see him fight?
Oh, we got to go winner of. Oh, we got to go winner of Bivol and Beterbiev.
How do you see that going?
I think Beterbiev is gonna take Bivol big time.
Yeah,
He's
I do
gonna
too.
take him to the cleaners.
But what do you think about Beterbiev then and Benavides? Who do you think comes out on top there?
Oh, Beterbiev. I don't think anyone's beaten Beterbiev. I just don't see
Beterbiev
it.
has to hurt him though because he'll outvolume.
He'll outvolume him,
He
for
has
sure.
He has to
Yeah.
hurt him, and we haven't seen Benavides really
like rocked.
Yeah,
We now in that
I want to see it.
Morrell
Yeah.
bucked him a couple times.
Yeah,
His
yeah.
knees went.
Okay, so
They were
had some
close.
clip.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see it. And then you had Clarissa Shields won the undisputed, the only 4-division undisputed champion in history. Beat the heavyweight champ there. Scored knockdown last minute of the bout, last 30 seconds probably. Sam Worthington from Lexington was on that undercard. Maintained her undefeated. She's 11-0 now.
Heck
I've
yeah.
had a chance to work with her at the Olympic trials, World Championships. But yeah, Clarissa's 4-division undisputed champion now.
What do you even do with her at this point? Because
I really the girl that I think Tika Hemingway, that was her biggest rival in the amateurs. Like Tika's pro now, but like she's under Roy Jones and she's not been as active as I'd like. Like she needs her Joe Frazier right? She's so dominant that she needs
She needs that.
she needs that challenger. It almost takes away when you're that dominant. I mean, she's even talking about now coming down and fighting. I guess there's a little beef with her and the 140-pound girl. I'm trying to think of the girl's name here in a minute. They were friends, and then all of a sudden they end up on the same flight, and then the girl's talking smack to her.
Oh, yeah.
The one that beat Michaela Meyer
Oh man,
for her title. I'll
drawing,
think of her name. It's light-skinned girl.
I'm drawing a blank on her.
Yeah,
name.
and then she's even throwing Layla Ali's name out there.
Oh, no.
Apparently there's been some. Yeah,
she hasn't fought in a while.
Layla ain't fought in a long time, but that's still a huge fight,
That
right?
is a huge
if Layla
fight.
wants to come back and get in shape, right?
Because what was Leia's? What was her record?
24-0, 21 knockouts. But the game
It's
has
so much
evolved.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These
'Cause-
girls now has been going to the Olympics since 2012. So now you're seeing girls like 100+ amateur fights, and you never saw that.
No.
Hey, everything y'all just said, I
Yeah.
was thinking the same thing. I just didn't want to chime in too much.
Yeah. But Layla sells tickets, though.
Yeah, she
Right?
does.
She's a beautiful lady, and then that name. I would hope she don't do that. Yeah.
'Cause she's got to be what? She's got to be like what? In
She's
her
got to be
40s?
over 40.
Yeah.
Yeah, which, I mean, she's lived clean and all that, but, I mean, to come back and fight
Someone who's been in the top.
somebody
of the
that's
game.
at their apex, it's like
Yeah.
27, 28 years old,
And she's got.
two-time gold medalist.
Yeah. And she's got good for a female fighter. She's got very impressive power.
Yeah.
Very impressive
Yeah.
power.
And she don't have the knockouts don't show that, but she's got that pop, you know.
Yeah.
She always, first time I saw her fight, I think she was 13. Yeah, so she's always had that real fast right hand. So it's interesting, but yeah, she needs a good challenger.
And we talked about this before because Clarissa's known for calling out male athletes in the sport for a fight. And I was asking Jerry earlier, I'm like, what is like the lowest weight we can go to make that even competitive for her? Like she would have to fight.
What's the lowest weight man that we'd feel that you get down to like world championship level before we'd say, okay, I think she could beat him?
And we're talking her being what 178.
She just fought at 75, 80, but she's fought as low as 54.
So Jackson,
Yeah.
what we're thinking is we're gonna get you in the ring.
Yeah.
She can go. She can.
Jackson,
really
don't even say Clarissa.
Yeah. She'll
Now
come
the
out
Rooster, I'm betting the house on the Rooster. Right? The Rooster's right here at 160. Right?
amateur
He
fighter.
said,
I think I could take it to her.
Clarissa, Lexington has an airport just an hour away. Cock-a-doodle-doo.
Cock-a-doodle-doo.
Cock-a-doodle doo.
I would just like to see you and her in there. I would just sit here, and I like Clarissa. I would just sit here and just take it in.
You just
Yeah.
let me go at it. No,
And I mean, I like both of you, right? Just let you. Oh yeah, I mean, she'd be trying to kill you.
Oh yeah, she's
Yeah, you'd
100%
have to
gonna
open up.
swing.
I'd take it back.
Yeah, she'd be
Rooster's
trying
kind
to
of
kill
girl right there, I think.
you. Yeah,
They
they might even go for a walk in the park after.
What's the
you know?
cut? Hold on, Jerry. What's the
And then we'll
cutoff?
get married.
Is there a cutoff for the women's heavyweight?
I don't know how. Yeah, I don't think so. I think that was
Guys?
minimum.
My name's Macy.
You're transitioning.
Get that 2-2.
Yeah, I'm coming in. I'm like, I'm here. I'll be here real right.
Hey, Trump just put a stop to that yesterday.
I got
Man,
a wig in my
Come
car.
on,
Dang, I wanted to go to the Olympics.
That's a hot topic, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
no.
yeah. The whole Olympics deal, and then they were throwing that accusation
Yeah,
out
because
there.
they had
Yeah, and a lot of people don't understand this now. Now it's actually legal in USA Boxing. At 8, 9, and 10, they're boxing co-ed, but they can. You don't have to. But the last show we went to, there was 2 co-ed
Co-ed
bouts
fights.
on it, and the theory behind that is that there's not as much of an advantage to hit male puberty.
Yeah.
Right.
The hormones.
And so that's a hot topic. But now and I used this example earlier. You know, when you start talking about the, you know, the transitioning over, and then born a man boxing. I'm like, I had when Amy started boxing, I had a kid in the gym, Austin,
Yeah.
same age, same weight, both of them green as grass, and there was, I mean, you can't.
he had
Yeah,
too much
it's
of an advantage.
Austin, take it
gaps-
to her. Yeah.
The gap is just too wide. Yeah. And I've always been like, okay, if they want to do that, then just make another category.
Yeah.
Right? If you're born a man, and if you want to do that, make another category and let them compete, but don't compete against somebody who's born a female.
And just wants to compete
Yeah.
against
And
female.
I was really surprised Caitlyn Jenner opposing that.
Yeah,
Like, and said, what do you,
Well, that's
said
what,
that she said, be careful with my pronouns, but said the women will invite Caitlin to golf, and then Caitlin turns it down because she says, I can hit the ball 100 yards farther than them. You know, like
Right.
it would be embarrassing. And I was really surprised to see Caitlin, formerly Bruce, come out and be against that and say, no, it's not fair.
yeah, because
Yes.
the only people that are even talking about that are people that aren't actual athletes. You know, that
Crazy.
Yeah, that's saying that you can do it.
Yeah,
'cause I mean, I could tell you from being I had Deja Allison, her dad in Lexington, monster. Her dad played basketball for UK with Bogans and Prince and all. Desmond Allison Sr. had her brother. Her brother was a year older than her, right? DJ ended up being national champion too. She hit puberty as girls do earlier, so she's bouncing him all around. Right, she's like 11, he's like 12. She's knocking him all over the ring. She's like female George Foreman, right? I was like, be nice because this ain't gonna last forever. Brother hits 13, and you can just see daily start seeing the tide.
all of a sudden,
flipped.
every time he
And
jabs
next thing
her-
you know, like he's got like he's striated all the way down Christmas tree in his back just naturally, and I'm like, no, yeah.
Yeah, my first time experiencing that was out in Cleveland, and
Yeah.
I was giving sparring to one of the female Golden Glove champs who was heavyweight, so me and her weighed the same, 170. I think she was 170,
Right.
175. I was 178, and I remember Flex telling me, he was just like, "Hey, he's like, work with her, but he's like, hold it back."
Right.
He's like, just jab only.
And it's hard to punch fast and punch easy too.
Yeah.
that's a hard
And,
combo.
Man,
yeah,
the
for a big guy.
first jab I threw, man, and it was like 50%.
Just rocked her. Yeah.
Oh, it was bad.
Yeah.
I'm like,
What I like to do there when it comes to like the male female, I like to take expose the female boxer to the speed and athleticism, like put them in there with a smaller guy, right? That's going to show him that speed and athleticism, but with big enough gloves on where he ain't hurting them, he's not disconnecting that neurology. Then when they get in there with the woman, they're going to feel slow, right? They're going to feel less powerful. They're going to feel slower, and that always works to your benefit. But you don't want them beat up.
no.
Right, you don't want to disconnect that neurology. Yeah, we jumped right over a hot topic.
The first time I sparred a woman, I got beat up, so I can't really say anything on this topic. Kennedy brought it to me.
Oh,
Jeez.
Kennedy took it to you.
Kennedy took,
Wait,
She was
hold
number
on,
2 in the
hold on.
country at the time, though, right?
yeah, she
so-
took it
Kennedy
to
that
me.
used to train.
Wait,
Yeah.
so this was here
Oh,
in
this was
Kentucky?
Yeah, it was in our gym.
3 or 4
yeah,
years
she was
ago.
number 2 in the nation.
It's my first few months
Yeah.
at the
You'll
gym.
see that like when the girls at a real high level and the guys just getting started. You see that, but then time that guy gets a few bouts under him, though, it flips.
It completely
Yeah.
flips. I was about to say,
She took it to you with no
Oh, dude.
mercy.
It was like my third, fourth month. Dude, she took it.
Hey, Kennedy didn't care if she was going to bring it the same, no matter male.
Oh yeah,
female,
she
what
bring
color
it.
you are, none of it
did
mattered.
not care. She's a really good boxer.
Yeah, slick.
and so, so how did that make you like feel afterwards? Like, did you just end up sparring her again when you had actually gotten some experience?
Yeah,
Was there ever?
the dynamic kind of changed a
Yeah, he
little bit.
eclipsed her at some point. But I mean, yeah, and a lot of guys in the gym sparring, you'd be amazed, especially if their parents were like, guys really take a L in sparring from a girl harder. Right? Remember Annie? We
yeah.
had the 2 Chinese sisters in here.
Oh, yeah.
I'd always wanted to train an Asian female boxer, right? Because
Right.
the discipline they have. And Annie is Bruce Lee in female form. And, I mean, she's run some little boys out of the gym, bro. I'm talking polishing
Was that her
them.
picture up over there? or-
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
She got to number 2 in the country there before. She's at UK now. Both of them are UK students. If she was still boxing, she'd be Team USA. I'm talking that girl's top level talent. And a dog like blood coming out of her nose. Who's gonna win? I am. I mean, she just had it all, right? And just at UK, COVID really hurt them because where it started in China and the families all
From China.
freaking out over that, and they were real hesitant to let them get back in the gym. The month before COVID hit, I took them to Atlanta, all 3 of the girls, a big international women's tournament, and both of the Chinese girls won it, and Kendi was runner-up. And then
Wow.
COVID hits a month later and just yanks the carpet right out from under us, man. I'm like, we're rolling. We're getting ready to be on. I'm going to have twin Chinese sisters. Like, check it off my bucket list.
Right.
On Team USA.
The demographics for the team like flipped, like because it used to be full of women and young boys,
Yeah.
and now it's just full of men,
Yeah.
which is crazy to me because I think about it because I used to be like
It's
the
ever
odd man out.
evolving.
Yeah.
It's ever evolving. And you'll see that with your program. Like, you'll go young, and then the old guys will go down. Yeah, and then you just kind of it's a shifting dynamic. Right now we're teen and 20s. We're real heavy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice. It doesn't make me
And
feel so darn old.
There's a
anymore.
point where I was like the only one in the gym, like that
Yeah.
was
Competing.
that could compete.
Now we need to step on the gas like our younger guys.
Oh yeah,
That's where
dude.
we need to
Step on
get our
Caden Parker and
numbers up
Landon
get
and
'em
stuff like
competing.
that.
No, I mean even like
Even younger.
8 to 12. Yeah, I'd
Yeah,
like
yeah.
to. My favorite age to coach, 10 to 12.
10 to 12.
Because they're old enough to comprehend, right? They're prepubescent. They don't have the social life yet. They're old enough to comprehend, right? But they don't have that social life yet, and it's just like that perfect mix, 10 to 12 years old. And the blows hadn't got hard yet, right? About
Oh, yeah.
13, you start seeing the guys get little veins in their arms. And
Yeah, and that's funny because you say that the best time to get your kid into boxing is when they're young, before the punches.
prepubescent. Yeah, don't jump in when everybody's got veins in their arms, right? That's bad. That'd be like jumping into football. You'd like football when the kids are just kind of knocking each other around a little bit. Don't wait until they're
In college.
15 years old and squatting a house and bench pressing a Pinto, right? That's the wrong time. You know, you want to know before you already have an established skill set before you start playing against other kids that's already hit puberty.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, like your son, I mean, it's crazy how disciplined he is at his age. Like
Right.
being in here in boxing and being able to use what he knows, it's so crazy. That's going to take him so
His
far in
defense
life.
is real good too. You notice, like he can go totally defensive in the ring, and he's
can,
like
yeah,
real
yeah.
relaxed. You know, he
At
mainly
that
gets hit when he
age,
opens
the skill
up.
set he has, he's going to have that his whole life just from
Yeah.
boxing.
Right.
He's taught well.
Like
Teach him
getting away
young.
from that WWE. You know, he wants to be a professional wrestler.
Really.
That's when he turns 18, when he gets out of high school. That's what he wants to do, is go to professional wrestling camp.
he could do it with the
Yeah, and
discipline
I'm
he's
like, hey,
learning
that's
in
what
here.
you want to do. That's what we'll do. It isn't going to take you long to find out if that's what is cut out for you, because they're going to beat you down and they're going to work your guts out.
Yeah,
right?
you got to be able to do some acrobatics.
You're
too.
gonna know. Well, when I was growing up, it was all mat wrestling. If somebody climbed up on the top rope, you're like, "Whoa, it's Jimmy Snuka," you know. And now you got, like, when the Lucha Libre came in, you got these 300-pound guys all of a sudden doing hurricane ranas off the top rope. It's amazing. And the foam pits too changed a lot of that, where you can train without getting hurt.
Yeah.
But when I was growing up, it was all mat wrestling, like headlocks, and nobody was like leaving their feet like that. Yeah.
It's gonna get crazier as time goes on
Oh,
too.
it's
Because I've seen like
ever-
some TikToks, you know, like the LED light beams that they put in, and they just smacking each other with it. I'm
that
like,
one guy dresses up like Ronald McDonald. There's a guy dresses up like, and he'll take those light beams, and they're power bombing each. I don't know how they don't get cut all pieces.
Last week, I actually went to. I haven't watched WWE in a long time. Okay, I've not been. I used to love it when I was a kid. My neighbor invited me over. They were throwing a watch party for, I guess, WrestleMania or whatever the big one is.
Yeah.
And,
Or the Royal Rumble was.
yeah,
we just
and-
went to it.
Did you?
Yeah, we were there.
Well, the rule was that you had to come dressed as a wrestler, and I was Jeff Hardy, and I committed.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
I had the hair dye, I had the armbands, I had the whole nine yards.
That's what's up.
It's
Yeah.
it's crazy, dude, and it was entertaining.
I'll tell you. Has anybody ever seen Steven Regal? He's the ugliest wrestler, probably. WCW, he's probably the ugliest one. Had nose out to here. So I'm like 20. Of course, that time I was boxing, so I was pretty lean, but I was benching 400, 200 pounds on the nose. Me and my buddy go front row, WCW show, house show in Knoxville, and got the sleeveless shirt on, right? Let the pythons breathe. And I go up there about half drunk, right? 6 beers in me for the day, feeling good. And this kid grabs me by the arm, and he says, "Steven Regal." And I look at him, he says, "Steven Regal." And then he realized that it ain't Steven Regal. And I'm thinking, that's the ugliest dude on the whole card, right? That's who he thought I was.
Oh man.
They go, I ought to smack you down.
Someone got me out here with
Yeah.
that when I was back up at like
Yeah.
around 280. Someone came up at there at Flowers, was just like, you know who you look like? I'm like, who? He's like, Travis Tritt. And I'm like, oh wow, cool. And I
So
look,
here's a quarter, whack.
I know. I'm like, I look up a Google picture of him. I'm like, oh, son of him.
Not Eddie Hall, right?
No, not Eddie
something
Hall.
Cool.
Someone said Travis Tritt. I'm like,
Here's a quarter. Yeah. Do y'all even know that song?
I know Travis Tritt.
Back
but,
when you used to use the payphone all the time, like you're out, you want to holler at a girl, you got to pull up to a payphone. He wrote that song, Here's a Quarter, call someone who cares. It's like 30 years outdated now. Yeah.
Don't know how you guys survived.
We used to
Had to
joke.
read books back then too.
Oh, the payphone by Burger King up there, like you pull up right next to it and you could operate it from your car. if you
Straight
got
from the
close.
car, just roll your window.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because the
dude, that was
payphone's
called-
right there at the
that was called engineering back in the
parking
day.
lot. And you just pull right up there. And
I remember
Yeah.
my mom.
Had to
she-
send messages with the birds. And
then when I got a pager, I mean, I just thought that was out of this world. Look down, some chick's paging you. Gotta go, guys.
Oh yeah.
Gotta go.
I'm getting a page.
I'm getting paid because only doctors had like
The
that's
page.
the first people I saw was doctors.
Yeah.
Pizza Hut, it's a hospital.
Got a patient to go see.
Yeah. So I got me a pager. I thought that's probably 95. Yeah,
Yeah.
the pager.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't get a cell phone until 99.
thank God I
And
was
where
Yeah.
did
cell
you get the
phone.
flip phones, or did you have
Yeah,
one of the big
it
blocks?
was like flip. No, it didn't even have flip phones yet.
Yeah, it was
it's
a
just
block.
one big solid
Yeah.
like block of cheese.
Yeah.
What'd you start to say? You said your mom.
Oh my, yeah. I remember my mom. She was a payphone user. She would burn them payphones up. We'd stop off, and I would hate it because I knew when she pulled off, I was like, I'm gonna sit here forever.
While she's on the
She had to get out, get her payphone going. Yeah, Lord knows what she was doing on that thing. But
Oh, they had them. The movies up here. I remember being in a movie and some hot chick paged me, and I walk out of the movie, go on her payphone, and I'm in the lobby between the bathrooms. I'm like, oh yeah, I watched this movie. Yeah, I'll come holler at you after it's over.
it was
Yeah.
a different
You had to
different
coordinate
era.
stuff. I'll be there at 6:30. You better be ready.
And
Yeah.
it was easy to find people because everyone was in the phone book back then too.
Yeah.
You could find everyone.
Yeah.
I remember doing that when I was in elementary school. I had a crush on a girl, and I would
Oh,
look her up
God.
in the school phone book, and I would call. Parents would answer like, "Hi, my name's Mason. Is she there?" And
Is this Travis Tritt?
Yeah, this is Travis Tritt. And then memorizing phone numbers was an essential
Yeah,
skill,
yeah.
right? Because if you got all these girls' phone numbers, you're out on the weekend cruising around. I know. Let's call so and so.
I hardly
And,
know my mom's now.
You actually put brain power into memorizing phone numbers back then.
We're cooked. Our generation is cooked,
Yeah,
Gary.
now I'm born in the right
I don't know
time.
my
I
wife's
should
phone
do that.
number.
Hey,
I don't have it memorized.
I think we were born in the right generation. God bless technology.
I'll
It's
just pull out my phone.
it's the one biggest thing that's happened in my lifetime is the internet. Like that's just you can learn anything. Like you can
Anything.
just get on there. I mean,
people are
get
still
on there and
dumb,
act
too.
stupid.
People are
Yeah,
still
they're
dumb.
well,
right?
we're getting
But
dumber.
you can get on there and say, how to, how's an F-16 made?
Yeah.
And sit there and watch somebody put one. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think we're a short time away from seeing technology come into like boxing and fighting. I think
Yeah.
we'll see like
Well,
bionic features. I think we'll
Cyberpunk.
see cyberpunk
Oh, we
features.
were having to scan dudes? Yeah, we were talking about that other stuff earlier, but you're having to scan somebody's arm to make sure they ain't got some prosthetics in
yeah,
there.
no cybernetic enhancements or
Hey.
anything.
Straight out of
Wolverine.
Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Some Wolverine junk going on.
Yeah.
Mantis claws coming out
Well,
mid-fight.
it's funny you mentioned that. A buddy of mine had one of the top amateurs in the country, and this guy was working. He was working a print. Now this would have been like 30 years ago. Eddie Mack. Yeah, I think that was him, Eddie Mack, and cut his fingers off on that print press. And this kid was like 82-2 as an amateur. I mean, he's a killer, right? And so at that time, they went to the commission and said, "Okay, what if we get him a prosthetic made for a fist, but no advantage, the same weight of his fist, same and now this was before the Disabilities Act and all this stuff." And they said no. Imagine now what they would cook you now, but there's somebody that doesn't. And then we had a kid we were wanting to get it that was wanting to come in the gym. Is Asian kid, and he was missing. And I actually had, Jasper.
Yeah, Jasper.
Yeah.
Mr. Boland.
Yes.
Actually was going to take a 3D printer and make him a fist so we could train him, and we couldn't get him over the hump to get him to come in and get fitted for. But I was so excited about that. I thought that would be amazing. Somebody don't have a fist.
That's a crazy story.
Make them a 3D fist so that they could at least train.
Yeah.
Right.
You can print anything
That'd
with
be
a 3D
amazing.
printer. It's
I
crazy.
think technology. I think we can get doom and gloom real fast if we talk about it. But I think some of the hopeful stuff, some of the like positive effects of it, I think we're headed through some really cool, innovative technology.
There'll be no such thing as like being handicapped.
Hey, we'll have the bionic boxing matches.
Yeah.
It'll be sick.
Well, you're even
dude.
seeing now, like the new in my generation, you didn't have. Now you have these wheelchairs now that are like somebody that's quadriplegic and they can't stand the wheelchair, picking them up where they can stand. Like when that came out to me, that was like
Crazy.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually lift you into a standing position, and now you're getting this exoskeleton stuff. It's going to be cool. Like the next 10, 20 years, the technology is going to be really cool.
Hopefully,
Yeah,
I'll be good enough at boxing by then.
Be able to control the internet just by looking at it and thinking about it.
That's a little bit too far for me.
Yeah,
It's a little
we've
bit
already
too.
got the in-house robots getting ready to come out, right?
Have you guys seen the Neuralink guys?
Oh yeah.
That's
And
what
what they've been able to do,
Yeah.
dude.
They're
Yes.
playing games. They're
They're
playing games.
playing
and
video
they're like,
games,
and
and
like
now-
they lost that ability, and they're like so sad that they lost it.
Yep.
Dude, that's crazy. It's
And
like
then-
it's a good thing.
And not only are they able to play, but they're able to play at a high level because
Oh, yeah.
they said it's like having an aim bot, like a cheat bot
Yeah.
with their brain, because their
it's
brain
instant.
literally just
Because
looks.
there's no delay
There's
in that
no-
message being sent to their fingers.
and like
Yeah.
literally they can look at the screen and be like headshot,
Well, I-
headshot.
That's kind of
Really,
cool.
all I need though out of the technology is like a speaker in Braden's ear where he actually can hear me and listen. While punches.
3 a.m. He gets on there. You hear
Yeah.
me? You hear me?
Rooster, are you there?
All right, guys.
I think let's say, I think he'll listen more.
Get
if
up,
we-
because Mickey loves you.
I think he'll listen more if we get some more female fighters in here.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, y'all never gonna let me live that
Yeah.
down. Right?
Yeah. Braden will pull a trigger though. Braden don't have no. There's no fear in his game.
Shooting the
Yeah.
shot.
I gotta see it. I gotta see the vision before I throw.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Braden's thing used to be before he had the established game he's got now. He would lead off with "Watch your snap."
Oh
know.
my God.
We're at a restaurant in Tennessee, and he walks up. I'm Braden. Watch your snap.
Was this a golden
That's
corral?
better than the phone.
No.
book.
That was at Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A.
Oh well, then she was a quality girl then.
No, it's no rapport building.
Yeah.
Nothing like that. But I mean,
Chick-
And I got the Snapchat. I got
Did you
that.
get
I
it?
got that
Yeah.
Snapchat.
That's better than the phone book, though,
were
right,
you maybe
Jerry?
16 at the most, 15, 16?
I was 15,
15.
16.
He would just lead off with it. What's your snap, girl? Yeah.
It worked every time.
It worked every time.
Yeah.
Tell me it didn't.
It's all right. When
Bold.
I was 15, I go talk to girls more like an interrogation. Like, so where are you from? It just sounded weird.
pretty.
Yeah. Mid Ike.
Oh, 15, I was scared to death.
Oh yeah, no.
Straight to business.
No game.
Well, it's like Rapture. You get the first rejection, you just get it over with. You're like, okay, that wasn't so bad.
Yeah.
You know.
It's kind of like,
Just get shot out
I
of the sky.
reference Bradley a lot, and he talks about, like, his friends in high school would ask him, say, how do you get all these beautiful girls, to go out with you? He said, it's a secret. He said, I ask them.
Ooh.
Right? He said, if they say no, why do you have to internalize that and say, why does that affect your self-esteem? Maybe she's got some dude she can't get over. You don't know why they said. So he took a friend of his to the mall and made him cold approach these beautiful girls. He said, by the third one, she's like, I'd love to. And he said, why are you worried about the other two? You ain't going to be thinking about them while you're on the date. I was like, man, that's cold blood. That's another level of confidence, though, ain't it?
Yeah, it
Yeah,
is.
when that don't affect you.
See,
Yeah.
I will say one of the funniest things I ever saw in person was my brother going up to talk to a girl, and like he didn't see her from coming, from up front.
Right.
He saw her far away, and he goes up and he talks to her, and then when she turns around, he didn't like what he saw. He said, he's like, yeah, I actually run track. I run the 400. He's like, you want to see? And he just took off running the other way.
It was pretty good.
It was pretty good. It was
You
one
wanna
of the fun-
see?
It was one of the funniest
That,
things.
now I'm starting to. My son's getting that age now. I'm trying to give him some game. And he
Yeah.
was talking about there was a snowball, and he's a really good dancer. I'm not just saying that. Wyatt can get down, right? Yeah, try to get him to twerk sometime, and don't tell him about that.
He's got that,
He's
that
got
wrestler.
Digital footprint, Jerry.
No.
Digital footprint.
No, he's got 2 older sisters. He used to put on a show at the house, right?
Oh,
and
no.
couldn't get it.
gosh.
Now he would kill me.
Well, hold on. What
Yeah.
was that from? Was it of Silence of the Lamb, where the guy's like dancing in the mirror and he's
Oh yeah. I'm so sexy, you know. What he say? He said, "Who are you talking to?"
Yeah,
Or,
he's like, oh no, he's like, would I do me? Yeah, I do me.
Yeah.
Lipstick on.
He's got it
Oh.
memorized. He's watching it 1, 2, 3 times. So I was trying to coach him, and he said, I said, you know, if you asked anybody to go to the snowball, and he said, no. I said, pick out who you'd like, and don't worry. And how would you like the opportunity to accompany me to the snowball? Right? It's an opportunity. It ain't, hey, would you go with me? You know, he's like, Dad, this ain't the 60s no more. You know, the Stone Age.
He's right.
They'll cut you down, and everybody will know about
It's
it.
like, Dad,
you know?
Dad, listen, I get posted on social media now.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah, he's a mess. He's at that age that you're worried about what everybody thinks.
Bullying got more advanced with technology,
Yeah,
dude. It's,
definitely.
It's
They
so
could
much
only
worse.
get you at school back in the
like
day.
they,
No,
right?
no,
they
they
like
follow
snap
you.
at you, like in the 60s, start snapping at you and you hitting it. Now they got like elaborate like internet schemes going
yeah.
You
on.
can go home and run away from it. Now they're hitting you up and tagging you online.
The Splicky brothers are here, and they just start snapping.
Gosh.
Did that,
It has evolved big time. You can't get away from.
Yeah.
Jerry, did that happen back in the day? I need to know.
We didn't have any internet, bro. So the only
Jerry
way they
was
could
a
bully us
snapper.
at school.
Did he start snapping at
Did you
No,
guys
there
get
wasn't no
swirlies?
snapping.
Is swirlies a real thing? Do people really do that?
Yeah, but I mean, like, you heard, that's probably something. I mean, we were the largest high school in the state. You probably heard of like that happening once or twice. Really, high school back then was 10, 11, 12. And junior high was 8 and 9. Junior high is where all the bullying, punking. By people got 10, 11, 12, they
Everything's
got
in
some
there.
sense, more maturity. But, eighth and ninth grades where you had most of the bullying.
Now you
going
just
on.
get doxxed on Twitter.
You get doxed
Now
on.
you just get death threats sent to you in an Instagram message.
Oh, my
I'm gonna
word.
kill you and your family.
I'm
Here's your address.
This
it's
you,
really
bro?
shocking the stuff that people like. Back then, of course, you didn't have them putting you in jail for a fist fight at school
Right.
like you do now. Back then, there was like very little talking before hands got thrown, and now you got people get on the internet and just talk all this
Instagram
crazy
Live?
stuff,
Oh, my
and I'm
God.
like Mike Tyson said, stuff that used to get you punched in the mouth, and I had a guy show up my junior year of high school, showed up and knocked on my front door.
He said, "Meet me at
Come to
Golden
my
Corral."
house to fight me at my house. I mean, I KO'd him, but I mean, he had the moxie to knock on the front door and say, "Step outside." I'm like, I respect. Now me and guys on good terms, to this day. But I mean, that's how it was.
That's the simplicity of men too. You can only find it with men where they can actually fist fight and be
There's a
friends.
threat
afterwards.
always under
A threat of violence, always.
Yeah,
Always.
yeah, Dr.
Not with
Jordan
women.
Peterson.
Women are treacherous, dude. They'll
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Judas you.
They'll cut
Oh,
those
man.
They'll
hands
kiss you
down.
on the cheek for 30 silver
Dude,
coins.
being bullied by women is so much worse
Oh
than
my
being bullied by
god,
men.
it is so bad.
So
It
much
hits
worse.
you in the heart.
It
Yeah.
does, dude. Yeah. Straight
You know,
up.
you know, to me, what really shows a woman's character is like when a better looking woman than her comes in the room, especially if she knows she's good looking, and a better looking woman comes in the room. Like, how did they behave? How did they treat them? Like, if they're still confident, treat them like $1 million, and even after they walk away, like that says something, don't it, about their character?
Yeah.
Yeah, for real. To me, that's more attractive than 100 times fold than them cutting on them.
Right.
But you see a lot of that. They can't
yeah.
handle it.
I think socially, women are definitely conditioned to view the way they look and the way they're interpreted as probably as equally as men are conditioned to view their physique and the way that they're athletic or competitive.
Respected.
So it is for them. I think for a lot of women, they're conditioned almost like the way they look is as important as the way that men box, right? Or the men fight.
Yeah, it's intertwined with
It's-
their self self-esteem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's cool to
Yeah.
find girls that uplift other girls, and
Yeah, I
a big
think
thing.
that's a very attractive quality when you see that a woman that's secure enough in her own skin. I know, like with my wife, that's one of the first things I sit back and just kind of watch, and she'd be like, "Oh man, that woman's beautiful," and I'm like, "This is a woman that's
This is
See,
why.
no,
her skin." Yeah.
see, I know my wife does the same thing too. She's very confident with herself, but like she'd be like, "Oh, look at her, hon. That she's gorgeous." And I'm like, "Yep, sure. I'm not falling for that."
It's a trap.
Who are
Sure
you
it is.
talking
Yeah.
about? I didn't
She
see
threw it up
anybody
there to
else in
see
the
if you
room.
dunk it.
Yeah, I know. I'm
Yeah.
like, nope. I saw. No, I got nothing to say though.
You'll be sleeping on the couch real soon.
Yep. Oh.
Yeah, exactly.
So going back to you, Jackson. So like, this being pretty much the only real boxing gym in this area of Kentucky, you said Kenny got you in to this, right?
Yeah.
And was there anyone had anyone else been talking about this place like in school and all that, or?
I wouldn't say people talk about this place specifically, but being able to fight and stuff, yeah, it's definitely something people, especially nowadays. I don't know how it was when you were in high school, but they think it's a cool thing, being able to fight and stuff.
Oh, if you'd have had a gym like this when I was in high school, you'd have had to have a doorman. I mean, Muhammad Ali was coming at the end of his career. Mike Tyson was at his apex. You would have had to have a doorman.
Yeah, people definitely think it's a cool thing to be able to fight.
Yeah.
Oh man, but they heckle you when you say you do know how to fight. God, my coworkers bug the crap out of me.
I've got a friend right now that's like 2 years older than me, and like get a couple in them, and that's all they want to talk about. I'm like, bro, we're 50. Like I'm not fighting unless somebody's trying to hurt me.
You'd be like, if we got into a fight, I mean, you can try that boxing stuff, blah blah
yeah,
blah.
but I'm a street fighter. I'm like,
I'm like, okay, but
yeah.
I see.
you gotta
right.
agree. You gotta agree.
And then you're like, okay, if you call them on it, and then you brought them in the gym privately and waxed them, then what's that? How's that going to affect that friendship?
It's not
because you just took what ego the guy had and you just stepped on it.
Yeah.
Let him just be a legend.
Yeah, no, that's that's one thing I can't stand is when you talk to people and they're like, "Yeah, man, I don't know about that, but all I see is red when I'm fighting."
It is a thing. People
is a
think
thing.
people think it's a joke.
I
It's a
know.
thing.
I'm like, listen, I know, like you, like, because like everyone blacks out. How much of every single second of the fight do you remember? Even going in bouts.
No,
like even my last one, I don't remember every second of it.
No,
Like, you do
no.
just kind of black out.
You
and
have
it's just-
auditory exclusion under high stress.
Exactly.
And, when your heart rate gets above 140 beats a minute, the combat research shows that your performance deteriorates. You get above 160, that's when you don't remember everything you said and did. I think it's real uncomfortable for a man to be like in the company of another man that could just smash you.
Right.
Right? So some guys can't, like their ego, they're trying to find some way to reconcile that. Instead of just saying, yeah, I mean,
This guy's a
whatever, he's a fighter. And then that can really like mess with people. And
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've kept that in my back of my mind. Like even when I'm around my friends that they're not threats to me or whatever. But it's just like even sometimes when they'll push it, just even like, oh, we'll throw on the gloves. I'm like you don't really want that question answered, buddy. I'm like,
there's no doubt left.
yeah.
I don't know. I just never did. I guess when you fought, it changed. But like when I'm hanging around Darren, I'm not going, well, I bet he could whip me, and
Right.
feel the need to peacock and all that. But
Yeah.
but some people, it's hard on their ego, I guess.
Hey Jackson, does anyone ever ask you to fight at school?
I've not heard that yet.
Have you told people that you box?
I've told some of my friends it's a cool thing, you know what I mean? I don't know if they did this when you were in high school, but something that's kind of popular now, maybe just in my school, but people will have a party and it's the football team versus the basketball team and they'll box. Somebody will just
All
set
of
it
them
up
at
in
one
their
time,
backyard.
or
Not at one time.
call out whoever you
Not at
want.
one
Yeah.
time.
That would be
but-
pretty funny.
Oh, we used to just have like all of us hanging out, whoever wanted it could get it, but
Yeah, but now it's just you take two sports and you just watch them beat each other up.
oh yeah.
That's probably the best thing.
Man, that
ever.
sounds
Oh,
like so
they're
much
so
fun.
Brain
entertaining.
damage. Yeah.
Well, more brain damage than the football player.
What about you, Tate? Has anybody ever said anything?
Dude, I'm sitting here thinking maybe I was lucky to be inside on the couch. I missed some crazy stuff out there. No, I'm a very passive person. I'm a huge advocate. I believe you can settle anything with a discussion. I do not think any situation ever calls for a violent initiation. I think a violent reaction, defending yourself is another thing. But I'm very passive, and I don't think anybody who at least knows me would ever approach me and ask to fight, just because I'm just.
Where'd you go to high school at?
Jerry, I actually dropped out of high school.
Did you?
I went to South Laurel for a year, and then I dropped out and got my GED and started my career after that.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it was in school bullying and everything was rough.
Right.
But fighting was never in my was never in my wheelhouse.
Even with you, Braden, how people would even challenge. I never got challenged to a street fight ever, and then
I'll never look at.
Well, I'm skinny, so I'm a little skinny boy.
But even still, though, like I just can't believe people have balls to even go up to like a trained fighter and be like, "Oh, you ain't nothing."
30-year-old men.
Yeah.
30-year-old men.
Yeah.
And I don't take it personally. It's just how they are. I mean.
Yeah.
There got to a point where I thought I shouldn't tell people that it should be just a down low thing
Meet me at the corral.
it got a little bit too prolific.
Certain people have they think you don't look tough. You don't look like somebody that could beat them up. They don't. I mean, look at George St. Pierre. Could you imagine somebody getting drunk in a bar and
it's funny you should mention that.
His voice and everything. I mean,
I'm not
want
impressed
to
with
fight,
your performance tonight. You have to go.
Yeah, I was not very impressed.
Have you ever heard him talk? Because he used to be he was a bouncer at a nightclub.
You would not be intimidated in the least. I mean, you see him peel off his clothes, he's an athlete. But him in a button-up shirt and stuff, nobody would think, well, I bet this guy could whip a dozen dudes.
Yeah.
See, I got it going for me in that department. I like to look real innocent, real nice. Nobody would ever expect it, but then if it gets hairy, I can pull out the guns and
like I said, once you get started sparring more frequently, you're going to realize how easy it is to.
So that's one of those pitfalls, as a competitive boxer, that you have to avoid. Is how easy is it? How easy would it be to get into something like that? Get in trouble, like say, get jammed up legally or break a hand, something like that.
That too.
You have to be willing to walk away before it starts percolating.
Yep.
Yeah, and avoid those. Most time, it's somewhere you don't.
You
don't belong. You're up in the club.
Speak for yourself. I cherished every bit of it.
Yeah,
I cherished it.
Well, I mean, imagine you were getting ready for a national championship though, and something like that happened, then you break your hand.
Silly.
Or a world title fight where you got millions of dollars waiting on you. Yeah, Mike Tyson busted his hand when he was champ on Mitch Green's head.
Mitch Green.
In the middle of the night, right? It's like, what'd you get out of that? It cost you a bunch of money. So.
Yep.
So, anybody else want to bring up before we dismiss? We've touched on everything.
Just last thought for me is if anyone out there is listening that is never been in sports, never had that competitive environment, especially men or women, anybody listening, you should consider taking up something like this. It is it changes your perspective. It changes your lifestyle. You'll have an appreciation for things in ways that you never did before. And so I would love to just encourage as many people as possible. And if it's not boxing, whatever, channel that energy into something. It's important.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, learning any kind of combat skills better than zero.
What Tate said.
All right.
Jackson, for me,
the Rooster's looking maybe next up March the 8th or
let's go
sometime in April. Yeah, we're going to get him back in the ring. Yeah,
baby.
Yeah.
15 bouts.
We got what's the big national tournament at the end of the year? We're trying to get him.
The USA's are in December. I was trying to think the summer. Oh, summer is actually in Vegas. The National Junior Olympics in Vegas.
Do I qualify for Junior Olympics?
Whatever their minimum is, if they want you at 15, anything less than that, you have to do a waiver. So, but yeah, those two. That's in Vegas. I'd have, of course, Floyd Mayweather's gym be packed when they have the Junior Olympics in Vegas. Everybody be wanting to go in there and
I would like to
sightsee.
do that. Yeah, I'd
Yeah,
like
that'd
to
be
go to
cool.
Floyd's gym.
Go in there in the dog house.
Hey, you know what? I'd really like to go visit the UFC PI Center
Yeah,
out there.
yeah, that'd be
They-
cool.
Oh, they've got I don't know what it costs for a day pass there, but they got that red light therapy room. They got the ice plunge. They got literally everything you would want as an athlete for a training facility there.
Yeah, that'd be cool to see what all they got going on.
And then I
Make
wanna-
me jelly.
And then I want to go break Poetan's punch record.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
They said
Who's
he
got? Is it Pereira's got it right
He's
now?
got it. He's got it. Yeah.
It ain't measuring pounds of force though, is it? It's
no,
like
it's
joules or something crazy.
Yeah, and I think what they said is that to convert it, it's from what I had seen on Quora or whatever.
Cora.
Yeah, Quora. That they converted Pereira's punch power, and it came out to like 1,194 pounds of force.
Yeah, I don't even know if I.
About-
He's
if I
a
could
sharper puncher
He's a
than he
sharp
is a
puncher.
hard puncher.
Yeah, and that's the one thing is like
Yeah.
I can't
like pounds of
possibly-
force, he's not punching harder than
Francis Ngannou.
Ngannou. No,
Yeah,
no,
'cause
he's not.
I-
Or the big African we just talked about.
Bacoli. Oh my
No,
gosh.
Bacoli knocked that wall down right there.
No,
you guys ain't seen him yet. There's an African dude that is a
Matt Truck,
bad hammer.
6'6". I think he's weighing.
6'6", 260.
I think he's actually at 300 pounds now.
Yeah,
I
he's
think
probably
he's-
cutting to 260.
He's probably he might be cutting to 260.
Mac truck.
But yeah, no,
Yeah.
he literally just taps people and their heads snap.
Yeah,
you know?
arm punches knocking
Yeah.
dudes out.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll check it out and be back on the next one here next week. And we got some competition coming up Saturday. Hopefully, we have some good news.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for listening, everyone.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Heck yeah.
Me too.
Thanks for
having
coming
me.
around,
Thanks for me
guys.
too.
Jackson and Tate. Thank you.